Welcome back to the channel. 3 episodes into Wistoria Season 2, we've had the brutal invasion, Rosty's sacrifice, Werkner nearly killed, Lucas's complicated battlefield entrance, and then the moment every fan has been waiting for since Season 1, Episode 1. Will Serfort's magic finally awakening and the Vander going down. Episode 3 felt like a finale, which made me wonder, where does Episode 4 go from there? And the answer is, somewhere nobody expected. Episode 4 is titled, And So the Story Begins, and even though it feels paradoxically like an ending, it's actually the closing act of the entire prologue arc. The invasion is resolved. The city is saved. And the episode uses that space to drop the single most important piece of lore this show has ever revealed, the fifth element, the Mage Queen Mercedes, and the truth about Will Serfort's origins that changes everything you thought you knew about him. The reveal of the fifth element might be the biggest power shift we've seen in Wistoria so far. Today we are breaking down every moment of Wistoria, Wand and Sword Season 2 Episode 4. And so the story begins. Like button. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Fast recap. Episode 3 was the messy but meaningful episode where Will's magic finally erupted. The Terminalia invasion was ongoing, monsters pouring through the breached fake sky, the Magia Vander locked in the tower unable to help, the dwarves and mages fighting side by side for the first time ever. Mars attacked and nearly killed Werkner. Finn appeared out of nowhere, told Will the truth. He's not magicless, he just has a completely different type of magic, one that runs on courage and willpower. Then Finn removed Will's limiters. Will transformed, long flowing hair and everything, and took down the Vander that had been dominating the entire fight. The invasion should be over. But the Vander's boss, Headless himself, is still unaccounted for. Episode 4 picks up right there. The episode opens not with action, but with a flashback, and it immediately changes the entire atmosphere. A female character named Mercedes holds an infant who seemingly looks like Will Serfort in her arms. She is talking with Finn, the same character who removed Will's limiters in Episode 3. Mercedes is known as the Mage Queen, an esteemed powerful witch who made a deal with Finn nearly 500 years ago. 500 years ago. Let that number sink in. She wants Finn to find someone who can use the fifth element, and most likely, that someone is Will Serfort, the lone sword in a magic-dominated world and the one Finn has been searching for all along. Now, context is crucial here. The magical system in Wistoria has always operated on 4 elements: fire, water, earth, wind. Every mage at Rigarden Academy, every Magia Vander, every spell in this world's entire history, built on those 4 pillars. That's the complete grammar of magic as the world understands it. A fifth element doesn't just add to the system. It breaks it open. It means there is a type of magic that nobody in this world can teach, measure, or fully understand, because they don't even know it exists. And Will, who everyone dismissed as magicless and worthless, is the first person in 500 years who might be able to access it. While the details of Mercedes's and Finn's pact remain unclear, it seems like Will Serfort has biological relations with either one of them. That is the line reviewers have been screaming about since the episode aired. Mercedes holding an infant that looks like Will. A 500-year-old pact. A mage queen and an ageless, mysterious figure searching for someone specific. The implications are enormous, and the episode is deliberately not explaining all of it yet. It's giving you just enough to understand that Will's existence is not an accident. He was always meant to be here. He was always meant to be this, back in the present. The invasion isn't fully over yet. Headless is still there. And with Will's limiters now removed and his power fully awakened, Episode 4 finally delivers the confrontation the whole arc has been building toward. The animation of the fight scenes between Will Serfort and the Vander, and now Headless, carries the intensity and scale of a final episode. And that is the key difference from Episode 3, where Episode 3's action sequences had noticeable shortcuts and pacing issues. Episode 4's central fight is genuinely spectacular. The choreography is sharp. The weight of every sword strike lands. And while moving with his limiters removed, the speed, the precision, the physicality looks completely different from anything we've seen from him before. Headless is a terrifying opponent, but Will is no longer the fighter Headless expected to face. He's something new, something the enemy didn't plan for. The fight sequence is the visual centerpiece of the episode, and reviewers are unanimous that when Will finally swings his sword and ends the fight, it's pretty cool. It's earned. It's the payoff of 4 episodes of build-up. The invasion is over. The capital is saved. But the episode's most emotionally significant moment isn't the fight. It's what happens when it ends. Elfaria's intervention is one of the episode's defining moments. Elfaria, Will's childhood friend, the youngest Magia Vander in history, the person he has been fighting toward his entire life, has been locked in the tower this whole time, unable to help. Watching Will fight, get wounded, lose people, get back up, and keep fighting, from behind glass, powerless to intervene. And when the battle ends, she comes down. This is the first time in Season 2 that Will and Elfaria are in the same space at the same time. And the weight of everything, the invasion, Rosty's death, Will's awakening, for episodes of climbing toward this moment, lands in that reunion. She doesn't deliver a dramatic speech. She doesn't explain everything. It's quieter than that. But her presence, after everything that just happened, says everything it needs to. Will isn't fighting alone anymore. Elfaria sees him, not as the talentless student everyone mocked, as the person he actually is. It's the emotional peak of the episode, and it lands beautifully. With the invasion over and Elfaria finally down from the tower, the episode shifts into a quieter, reflective gear, and this is where the title starts making sense. The episode is called, "And So the Story Begins," because everything up to this point has been prologue. The invasion arc, which felt enormous and consequential, was just the opening chapter. The real story of Wistoria Season 2 starts now. Werkner is still alive, barely. He's being treated and will recover. The dwarves who fought alongside the mages are being acknowledged in ways that would have been unthinkable before tonight. The Academy is beginning to reckon with what just happened, who fought, who helped, who the real threats are going forward, and Will, carrying everything from the last 4 episodes, is standing at the beginning of something much bigger. The graduation exam failure, the failed question from Professor Edward. That hasn't gone away. If anything, it's more pressing now. Because Will's magic has awakened, but it's a type of magic the Academy doesn't recognize, doesn't measure, and doesn't know how to evaluate. The same system that said he was worthless still exists. The same prejudices are still in place. The 5th element changes what Will is capable of. It doesn't automatically change how the world around him sees him. And that tension between what Will actually is and what the institutional system decides he is clearly going to be the heart of everything coming next. And Finn, who is he? Where did he go? What is his relationship to Mercedes, and to Will specifically? Will Serfort's journey is still far from complete, with plenty left to uncover about his past, the reason he couldn't use magic, and the new power-ups that lie ahead. The episode deliberately leaves these threads dangling. Finn appeared, changed everything, and vanished again. Mercedes held an infant that looks like Will 500 years ago. The pact between Finn and Mercedes has terms we don't fully understand yet. And the 5th element, what are its actual limits? What can it do beyond raw power? What does it mean for Will's path to becoming a Magia Vander? These are the questions Episode 5 needs to start answering. And based on the episode title, "And So the Story Begins," the show knows it. The prologue is done. The real Wistoria Season 2 is about to begin. Production honesty, as always. The animation of this season still has not managed to catch up to the heights of the first, and given how many obvious animation shortcuts we're still seeing in practically every scene, there are concerns about whether the production can make it across the finish line. When you factor in the 7 minutes of opening and closing credits, Wistoria couldn't even turn out a full-length episode for this supposed grand finale of its prologue. That is a real issue that the community has noticed and talked about extensively. But the Will versus Headless sequence looks good. The Elfaria reunion is handled with real care. And the Mercedes flashback, brief as it is beautifully atmospheric. The production is inconsistent, not broken. And when it fires on all cylinders, it reminds you why this show has been one of the most talked about of the season. So, that is Wistoria, Wand and Sword Season 2 Episode 4. And so the story begins. The Mercedes flashback that reframes Will's entire existence. The 5th element revealed as the type of magic nobody in this world has access to, except him. The final battle against Headless delivered with genuine spectacle. Elfaria finally coming down from the tower in the most emotionally earned moment of the season. And the closing declaration that everything up to now was just the prologue. The real story starts here. If Wistoria Season 2 keeps up this level of quality in its remaining episodes, it wouldn't be surprising if the hit magic anime of the spring 2026 season continues to exceed expectations right through to the end. For episodes in, the invasion arc is closed. Will has his magic. Elfaria is back in the picture. And the institutional battle, Professor Edward, the graduation exam, the Academy's refusal to see Will clearly, is waiting right where he left it. The story begins now, and I am completely here for it. And that is your complete breakdown of Wistoria, Wand and Sword Season 2, Episode 4. And so the story begins. The Mage Queen Mercedes holding what looks like infant Will, a 500-year-old pact with Finn to find someone who can use the fifth element, while shutting down Headless with his limiters off. Elfaria finally, coming down from the tower. And the show declaring that everything so far was just the opening chapter. The real Wistoria Season 2 starts now. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think Mercedes' connection to Will actually is? Is she his ancestor? His creator? Something else entirely? And now that Will has the fifth element, how do you think Professor Edward and the Academy system are going to respond to a power they literally don't have the framework to evaluate? Drop your theories below. The lore is deep in this episode, and I want to hear every single take. A like takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps this channel reach more Wistoria fans. And if you want every episode of Season 2 covered right here, subscribe and hit the bell. We are not missing a single moment. See you next week for Episode 5. Until then, the sword is mightier than the wand.
Yeah.